Congratulations on the purchase of your Ashton guitar. My name is Mark Daniel from the band The Limit, and this is the Rock House Method, learning how to play beginner guitar. Today we're going to cover a lot of techniques that are going to get you playing and get you to be a great guitar player and musician. Each DVD comes with a free online lesson support from rockhousemethod.com. To find out how to log on and get connected, visit the DVD's main menu. Hello and welcome back. Before we get into some playing, we're going to go ahead and go over all the parts of the guitar so that way we're fully knowledgeable of the instrument that we're going to be playing. So there's three main parts of the guitar: the body, the neck, and the headstock. On the body over here, we'll start off all the way at the end. We have our strap buttons. What our strap buttons do is that basically you attach a strap to them so that way when you stand up, straps on there nice and tight. Underneath the guitar over here, as you can see, we have our input jack. Basically we plug in the cord into the input jack, it goes into the amp, carries the sound. Over here we have our volume and tone knobs. As you can tell, I have one volume knob and two tone knobs. This varies at times. It depends on what kind of guitar you have. I've seen ones with just one volume and one tone, or with just a volume without any tone. So it depends on the guitar you have. And obviously volume makes it louder and softer. Tone sort of cuts your sound, makes it a little bit deeper or a little bit brighter. Here we have a toggle switch. Now what this does is this changes our pickup selection. So for example, if I'm all the way down here, I'm using different pickups. If I change it up here, different pickups, and so on. This also varies on a lot of guitars. Sometimes you maybe have two options or three options. This guy over here we call the bridge. A very important part of the guitar. This is where we anchor our strings in that come on right through the body of the guitar. Bridges also vary on different types of guitars, but the principle is the same with them, that they basically anchor your strings. Moving further up over here, these are our pickups. As you can tell, on my guitar over here, this pickup is a humbucker. There's two of them put together over here. These two are single coil pickups. The humbucker itself tends to have a little more of a well-rounded sound, if you will. It's a bit more lower end, if you will. Over here we have the single coil pickups, which are more high end. Sounds a little bit brighter, a little bit tighter up on the high end. Of course, these vary on different guitars too, so maybe yours are different, but they still serve the same purpose. So now let's move to the neck of the guitar. On the neck over here, we'll start off with these guys. You see these little dots over here, right? Now what these dots are called, they're called your position markers, right? Now, position mark is very important because this will be your referencing point for your frets. When we start talking about put your finger here or there, you'll be able to see that your third fret's here, your fifth fret's there. So start making references as soon as possible to your position markers. Followed by that, we have our frets themselves, these metal pieces right in between. These separate our notes. So that way you get a nice crisp sound when you hit the right note. But don't play on the metal piece. Play between the metal pieces. So play between the frets, never on the frets. Let's go further on up the neck over here. And we have the nut. The nut's this plastic piece over here that's used to guide the strings to the headstock. Further up on the headstock, we have what are known as tuners, but the proper term is machine heads. What you do with machine heads is that you turn them left or right to go ahead and change your pitch of the string to keep you in tune. So those are your basic parts of the guitar, and definitely memorize them because you're going to be using them. Now you may have an acoustic guitar, so let's go ahead and cover the parts of the acoustic. It also has three main parts, like the electric. First part is your body, second part is your neck, and your third part is your headstock. So let's go to the back of the body over here and see what we got. We'll start off with the strap buttons over here. And basically what you use them for is you put your strap on in case you want to stand up to play or have a little extra security when you have it on. And it's pretty simple, you just pop it right on there. This particular model acoustic guitar is an electric acoustic guitar. So it has an input available over here so you can plug in. So let's move further on down. This part over here is called the bridge. And what it does is that it basically anchors your strings into the body of the guitar. These white pieces that I'm pointing to over here are your string pegs. Now they actually hold the string into the bridge, which holds the string down into the guitar. We're going to move further on down the line over here. As you can see, the hole over here, this is our sound hole. It's a very important part of the acoustic guitar because that's where our sound comes from. When we start talking about picking, we're going to show you how to use the sound hole and how to pick correctly over the sound hole to make sure your sound comes out as best as it can. Up on top of the body over here, I have a tuner. This particular model acoustic guitar comes with a tuner to go ahead and help us tune without having to worry use a pedal on stage or to have to hook into a different device. So as you can see, my tuner's right here, and I also have a volume knob option, so that way when I plug in this acoustic I can go ahead and adjust my volume and EQ. So one more cool feature about this guitar is that it has a cutaway body. Now maybe your acoustic does, maybe it doesn't. It's okay either way. A cool thing about the cutaway over here is that it allows me to get to these higher frets a lot easier. So I can work higher, maybe do some solos, maybe do a melody up high. So let's get to the neck now. Next part. As you can tell, we have these dots on the neck. Now we call these our position markers. They're very important in playing because that's your reference point in knowing where you are. So when we say go to the 3rd fret, go to the 5th fret, the 7th fret, you can automatically know that, well, that's where the 1st dot is. That's where the 2nd dot is. So start making these references now and memorize them as best as you can. These metal pieces over here are our frets. Now, our frets separate the notes. It's very important to know how to play around the frets. So when we start talking about playing, just remember now, we do not play on the metal piece, we play near the metal piece. So do not play on the fret. Let's move further along down. And as you can see, this plastic piece over here is known as our nut. Now what our nut does, it guides the strings to the headstock. So here we are at the headstock. As you can see, these metal pieces here are commonly known as our tuners, but more specifically, they're called machine heads. And what you do is you turn them to the left or you turn them to the right to go ahead and alter your pitch and tune your guitar. Speaking of tuning, so we're going to go into next. So memorize your parts of the guitar because you're going to be using them. Alright, so we're going to get into some tuning right now to make sure that we sound good, okay? Now you may notice I'm using an acoustic guitar to tune, but tuning is the same for electric and acoustic. So make sure that if you're watching this with an electric guitar, it's all the same. And you'll also notice along this program that there's a lot of similarities between acoustic and electric as well. So let's go ahead and get started on tuning. Now just again to go ahead and stress how important tuning is, you may know your scales, you may know your chords, for example, but if you're the slightest bit out of tune, it's not going to sound right. So take this part of the lesson very seriously in making sure you tune before you play every day. Cool. So let's start with the lowest string, the 6th string. This string is called E. So what you should be doing now is matching my pitch to your guitar. So go ahead and tighten or loosen your machine head along to my sound. Here we go. 6th string, low E. All right, we're going to move to the 5th string now. This string is called A. Ready to match the pitch? Let's do it. Next string, 4th string, D. Now we're going to move to the 3rd string. This string is called G. Second string is called B. Now the 1st string. This string is also called E, but we refer to it as high E, as opposed to the 6th string, which is low E. So now 1st string, high E. You may have noticed that I was telling you the names of the strings while we were tuning. And again, the strings are called, from lowest to thinnest, they're called E, A, D, G, B, E. Definitely put that to memory. So the most surefire way to go ahead and make sure your guitar is in tune is to purchase an electronic tuner. This is going to go ahead and make it very easy for you to tune anywhere, anytime. Just match the name of the string to your tuner and move your machine head either right or left to go ahead and change and match the pitch to the name of the string. All right, now that we're in tune, let's talk about holding the guitar, and that's coming up next.